like you said, because it is based on true characters, there's a lot of information, a lot of things to go back and do research on. I know, well, when I came on the project, Jude had already been involved for quite some time with KARIM, and I just tried to kind of catch up in the sense that they had already, I mean, a huge selection of both books, people that came in for lectures. We had experts of the Tudor times who came to spend time with us who had lived even as Tudors for a while. And then, of course, alongside that, with the fact is this happened 5 years ago, so as we know, we can't really know what happened, and that's also the beauty of creating a film like this. And for me, I was very intrigued by being part of this project after my first initial conversation with KARIM, and for him it was the first thing he said. He wanted to make a film about a marriage, about this couple and their relationship, and then, you know, use the beautiful colours and the grand setting that this historical piece has, but focus on that. So a lot of the preparation was the conversations that we had in rehearsals, trying to really understand the relationships and how these two people come together.
The playground that we worked in had to be safe, and it felt very safe, it felt very brave, it felt very collaborative. KARIM is brilliant at creating that kind of atmosphere, and Alicia is a wonderful playmate, like a friend and a partner. In that situation, it was incredibly brave and fearless, and it always felt, this made me laugh. My memory is that we laughed a lot. It sounds really twisted, because of course we did awful things to each other, but my memory is that we were laughing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was
I think we had to.
Yeah, I think we knew what the task was.
Yeah.
We were very aware of it, and then you kind of had to approach it with some sort of lightness. I think really incredible, and this is considered, you know, it's 500 years ago, and as much as we know that it's mostly men and kings that are kind of acknowledged throughout history, to then actually have this character that I'm going to portray. She does have these books that you can actually go and read, and they've been translated into more modern English. And then not only I get like a real, you know, I listen to her own voice, and also knowing that it's a woman from 500 years ago was a pretty extraordinary feeling. And then
so many of the layers of him and his behaviour and the abuse I think he received as a child, meaning, you know, to be separated from family and almost brought up under guard, to be a king, and fed the lies that he was, you know, second only to God. I mean, what does that do to someone?
I mean, personally for me it was, you obviously, you know, I tried to, when he spoke, what he just said about it being about a family, you know, it always helped when I kind of could put myself, you know, try and imagine, you know, what if this was set today, this, you know, situation. I don't think human behavior or emotions have changed over 500 years. And that thing when we started to rehearse, and I realized, okay, so this is a woman who walks in and she is married off without without having any say in it, and knowing that there's 5 wives that are dead. You know, and just putting yourself in that, you know, state of mind, that really, you know, changes things, and that's, I think, where I realized how fragile each moment is for this woman, how she is so terrified of anything, because anything that she does wrong can make this man, you know, flip.
Many ways you're having the best time of your life, but you happen to be investigating stuff that's awful and dark, and you go home going, great day, that's a great day. So it's an unusual scenario. It's a kind of dance, I guess, of being an artist. You've got to go there. You know that the shadows are the place where the work is the most interesting, the dark spaces, but you do so safely, and thank goodness you can get out, right? You leave. But you have to do so honestly, because otherwise it's not worth anything. So it's a kind of it was a sweet spot of an experience for me.
Talking about making these big, difficult and horrific scenes, was it kind of hit us while we were making some of these scenes. Really, when it was just the two of us, and you know, Jude, you were pretty, you know, wonderfully terrifying. And you know, it was those like very sensitive moments when I really could deep down. I mean, it's the beauty of the work that I do. I get to put myself in situation and imagine together with other people in a space, and it becomes very powerful. And then you can get the chance of like get a sense of, whoa, okay, this is what it could be like for a person who is in this situation. And I don't think there's any difference from being there 500 years ago to today. Thank you.
Thanks. I kind of see it like theatre. Although I'm slightly more obsessed by theatre, I don't really follow it. I find it as a chapter in history kind of intriguing, how it relates to itself if you look backwards. But I'm not one for gossip. I don't really enjoy it. I find no interest in it, and I don't really enjoy following tittle-tattle stories. And but there was something remarkable about looking at the photos of this medieval ceremony and how it applied to today. It made me feel very modern.
Thank you. Actually, it was, no, I think they've had an upswing in Sweden there. I think I you know, I agree with Jude. But yeah, I also don't think that I don't know. I don't follow it really myself. No, I mean, I think for me, going into first costume fitting is one of the most pivotal times in me finding out, you know, realizing whatever character I'm doing. So when you do a drama like this, obviously it's this sensory, you know, it's very helpful. Obviously you put this on and you also get the routine and the ritual every morning, which is a reminder of what it actually was for these people to put it on. I mean, and the wonderful costumes were, I mean, done exactly as how they were back then. I had like 7-8 layers. It's a 13-minute, you know, preparation in the morning. But then it was wonderful. I mean, we had talked about it a lot, and I had KARIM like yelling across the room, like, disrespect the costume. I was like, what does that mean? But he was like, lie down, roll around. And that was, you know, that was the thing. I think, again, we have this kind of idea, what he talked about, the kind of Victorian ideal of like how you should wear, how you should talk, how you should walk. And that's kind of our view of having seen these paintings too. Whilst when you're in them and you get the image of, you know, for me especially when one of the lecturers said, you know, in the palace it's like 300 men normally, and then it's like 10, 12 women in these 2 rooms. And I was like, that gives you kind of a, you know, a special image. And then being in these dresses all that time in these tiny, tiny rooms, and that was us hanging. You would stay in there, you know, hanging out there. And then after a while, you do start to slouch. It's human behavior, so you do that. You like lie on the couch or on the floor with these dresses because there's really nothing else you can do.
Because his leg was rotting so badly, and he hid it with rose oil. So I just thought it would have a great impact if I smelled awful. And I went to this brilliant perfumier who is really, by the way, like, she makes wonderful scents, but she also makes awful scents. And she somehow managed to come up with this extraordinary variety, which was pus, blood, fecal matter, and what was the last one? Sweat. And initially I used it very subtly. I just sort of thought I would use it myself and that would have an impact. And when KARIM got hold of it, it just became a spray fest. And a lot of the reactions you see are him like,
literally have like a camera operator.
Yes.
It's like, huh?
When they left the set to eat, I would come in and spray the whole room. Every room had a smell, and it was like incredible. Like it really triggered a lot. But it was when he walked on set, it was just. I think it's not a movie about Henry VIII. It's a movie about Catherine Parr, but Henry VIII is in it. But anyway, it's about the couple, and I think that was the first thing that was interesting to me.